This title is narrated with virtual voice. Computer-generated narration for audiobooks. The Voided Man by Anthony Dean. Prologue. There are great deserts in space. Matter is not spread evenly. On average, it balances out in all directions, but some regions are not average. For every dense cluster of galaxies in one place, there is a tremendous void somewhere else. These voids are not black holes. They are areas of normal space that just happen to contain nothing much. There are no galaxies within them, no stars, no planets, and no moons. They can stretch tens or even hundreds of millions of light years across. Scientists have theorized that if a man found himself at the center of such an empty space and looked around, he would see only darkness in every direction. Even the brightest galaxies, they say, would be too far distant to be visible to the naked eye. I got a chance to test that theory firsthand. I am the most distant exile in human history. My name is Prisoner Number 1. This is my story. Part 1. The Exile. Chapter 1. Annabelle made a small adjustment to my tie. She plucked a tiny piece of lint from my coat, smoothed over the spot, and took a half-step back. "Just right," she said. She dropped her political smile and gave me her crooked smile, the real one that I loved so well. 30 seconds, sir," a man with a headset called out. I could hear him over the crowd beyond the curtain, but only barely. They were loud. They were intense. I wondered how many people were out there. I checked my note card, but then I placed it in my coat's inside pocket. I didn't need it. I knew what I was going to say. Annabelle touched my arm. "Cucumber, babe," she said, and in spite of the noise and the importance of the occasion, I actually did feel as cool as a cucumber. 15 seconds. Annabelle leaned over and spoke into my ear. "Give them hope. I love you," I said. "I love you in return." She took a step back and started to clap. 5 seconds, sir. I squared my shoulders to the crystal podium and tried to project calm and confidence. 3, 2, 1, go. The opaque force shield in front of me slowly faded to translucence. Within a handful of seconds I could see the crowd, and they could see me. The roar seemed to double in volume as I became visible, and there were far, far more people than I had ever seen at any rally. They stood shoulder to shoulder in rows hundreds of meters wide from the base of the stage that I stood upon to the edge of the river half a kilometer away. I fought to control my expression. My eyes seemed to want to bug out and my mouth wanted to open in surprise. If I had not been a seasoned pro, I would have stood there and gawked at them all. Or run away. Could there be 1,000,000 people here? I wondered. But I controlled myself. I smiled and waved to all parts of the crowd. They cheered and jumped and clapped and yelled. They were beautiful. More than that, they were hungry. I pressed a small button on my podium and the anti-grav motor spun up. The circular platform I stood upon rose slowly until it was 5 meters above the stage, and there it came to a gentle stop. From the higher elevation I could see the soldiers in their light blue uniforms make a broken ring around the edges of the crowd. They had been a regular feature at my speeches for some time. But the difference that day was that their number seemed puny. They were armed, but there were several hundred citizens for each of them, and I wondered if they could do much to control the crowd even if they tried. For the first time I thought I might actually win. The campaign was not like my first 3. I was more than token opposition. I saw a path that could actually lead to victory. Annabelle had encouraged me to change my presentation if I ever saw such a path. In fact, she had made me promise that I would, and I always keep my promises, large or small. I raised my hands and brought them down 3 times, and the crowd slowly quieted and awaited my words. I dispensed with my usual opening lines that generated cheap applause. I did not tell them that it was good to be back in their town. I did not thank them for a wonderful welcome. I also did not give them an upbeat speech that laid out my somewhat vague but very positive vision for the future of the nation. Not this time. This time, I went on the attack. I made my first statement slowly.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.